he is driving very slowly, and he's actually following all the traffic signals. I want to make a correction here. We actually are heading towards Ventura Boulevard. It was a southbound turn, got a little turned around right there as we were setting up Sky 9 this evening. As far as him driving erratically, I'm not really sure. There must have been something that cued the officers earlier on when they attempted to make it. Here comes that pit maneuver. That vehicle coming up right up next to it, nice and slow, spinning that car out. Look at that. That is a beautiful pit as far as tactics go. Now that car coming to a stop, some other vehicles in the other lanes. Now, was it enough to disable it? Was it enough to shake that driver up? It does seem like it. The car coming to a stop out here on Winnetka just before Ventura Boulevard, right by Hatteras. Officers from the LAPD, they are out right now. You can see them kind of blocking the vehicle in. There is a spot if the vehicle did want to make its way out, and there we go. He's actually taking it right there. Officers from LAPD getting back into their vehicles, and his car's starting to move again. Now we're going northbound. We're making our way away from Ventura Boulevard.
You know, it's always so weird to see the split personalities of these drivers. I mean, here he's being courteous, driving below the speed limit, and he's stopping. Here goes the pit. Let's see this live here. This is of a drunk driver. Second attempt maybe coming up.
He's not going to do it with the cars.
Yeah, too many other cars
They actually made contact with the car. Yeah, they made contact with that car underneath those trees, but then as soon as it didn't really work, they basically backed off because of the parked cars. Right now we're on Hamlin. This is going to be a very residential part of the area out here, West Valley. Eastbound Hamlin from Corbin. Vehicle continues to move. There's those hand signals again. Not sure what he's trying to tell the officers, but it seems like he's either telling them to keep going or he's telling them to slow down, but the same type of hand signals all evening.
As we saw them making the left turn, following at one point, Stu, you talked about this being a following at one point.
Spike strips.
Okay, it looks like they pulled it away.
They didn't get them.
You know, spike strips, that's another thing. That's another, operation that they'll deploy, but that takes a lot of time, too. So that took some methodical, procedure on their part by the LAPD because they have to deploy that. It takes a lot of time to do something like that.
And he continues to wave. I don't know if he's waving or telling them to stop, but I mean, why doesn't he stop? That's what is really necessary to end this thing. I don't know. You can never, Stu, get into the minds of these drivers here, and this one is as strange and unpredictable as any others we've seen. Here's another possible pit maneuver. Take it away, Stu.
Another possible pit maneuver. And, you know, Jeff, I'm just telling you, you know what? Some of the times I'm kind of happy things don't work out like that. I do not want to put my mind into this guy's mindset at all. You know, Susie, you were talking about that spike strip. It was very convenient for them. Apparently that street basically had one way in, one way out, and made a big loop, and that was the reason why they were able to get those spike strips out, but maybe not quick enough. One LAPD officer really wanting to bring this thing to an end did a valiant job right there, getting up right next to the car, but now it seems that it might have maybe even scared this guy a little bit. The speeds maybe picking up just a little bit. I wouldn't say dangerously high speeds. Of course, he is not stopping. Of course, he is impaired. So any speed. Whoa, there you go. Another spike strip. Little surprise right there. That one may have gotten it. It was a successful hit with the spike strip. So,
or is he just stopping for a stoplight
sooner or later?
Or is he just stopping for a stoplight? Right?
No, yes, he's stopping for the stoplight, but they definitely had a successful spike, meaning the officer saying that the car ran over the spike strip, so we'll see if those tires go flat. Right now, though, we're at Tampa, as you can see. Officers from LAPD. Front passenger wheel is where it was, where it got hit. I believe we're going to be on Van Owen. If not Van Owen, it's going to be Victory. I always get those two mixed up. But you can see a number of officers, that white vehicle pulling up right there and undercover. But you also see a lot of traffic out here this evening. Everybody's waiting for the light. Now he has a flat tire, and he's going to be continuing on.
And Stu, you mentioned that this was a following at one point. What was the reason for that?
Well, his aggressive driving. Here comes another slow pit. Ooh, that
took the right quarter panel out. Yeah,
it just took it off. Now he's moving even slower. He's got the bumper dragging. He's got a flat tire. You know what? Even though we're looking at this car saying, maybe that's not the greatest car, but it was his car. And you just got to think, if you just would have pulled over, this thing would have been all over. We don't know what the other reasons may be, but now he's dragging his bumper. He's got one flat tire. We're back into a Sylvia from Victory, residential neighborhood. They may actually do another pit. They just want to bring this thing to a stop.
And the LAPD, as Stu mentioned, really wants to get this guy. They really want to get this guy right now because they've tried 3 pit maneuvers so far.
Another spike strip.
Another spike strip. This is the
nice
3rd spike strip that he has.
That might have got all 4
spike strip
tires.
that when he went over. And it looks like he's still going, but this is going to come to an end soon because those tires can't handle those.
That's pretty easy to say that this guy is impaired because he ran over that spike strip slowly and hit all 4 tires. So this guy's going to be
I don't think he can
gone.
go any faster though with the tire damage though.
Oh no! We were just getting information. We've been hearing it on the scanner as well. I just wasn't sure about this. I didn't want to put it out there, but now we're hearing that it is pretty much confirmed that it is a stolen vehicle. Also, that's what we're hearing right now. Comes back stolen, and they are saying it is a female behind the wheel. So we're going to wait and see when this thing comes to an end here. But this vehicle continues to limp along out here. 2 flat tires. There comes another spike strip.
Wow.
All right, now we've got some driver's side flat tires as well. This is the first time we've seen this person run a stop sign this evening, so maybe the driving's getting a little bit more aggressive. It's really tough to say. This is very slow moving. The car continues to move along. Residential neighborhood out here.
This is almost like a training exercise at this point because they have deployed, what, 5?
At least 4 or 5, yeah.
I mean, they're almost doing it at will when it comes to this driver who continues to drive right over the spike strips.
Yeah, and he or she, I think it's a she at this point, as Stu just mentioned, but keeps driving in circles, I believe, in the same neighborhood. Is that what this person is doing? Are they going in circles right now?
We are basically just maneuvering through a residential area. We haven't got onto any of the majors out here this evening. Eastbound Irwin towards Wilbur. That's the current location right now. Going to make their way onto Wilbur. But they're saying female driver. Now they're saying stolen vehicle. We're working our way onto. That's why I was getting a little bit wider. There are some majors out here. Now there's very slow speed. Pit. Here comes another one, maybe a little faster this time. No cars around, and also no curb. Yep, there we go. Up, just enough to scrape the paint. And so just keep it moving. Now that one officer, it looks like is not giving up. He's going to stay right behind there and attempt another one right now, maybe a little bit faster. There we go. That was a nice tight one. But the car stopping again.
This is over.
Let's see if this time it's enough to bring this thing to an end.
This is not the first time.
This is very dangerous. Yeah. When they keep moving so close to the officers, even though it's very slow speed, it almost seems comical.
Yeah, and this is not the first time that we've seen this evening. There was a point where they attempted the first pit maneuver. There's another one right there. Wow, this is a total, I believe, 6 pit maneuvers so far.
Yeah, and this police officer is doing a good job of keeping up with her. It's amazing to me that the hand gestures while they are hitting the vehicle. It almost is like this driver, this female behind the wheel of this stolen vehicle, wanted for DUI, is almost waving to the police to get her out somehow. I don't know. And she's like, or maybe she's saying, come on, come on.
That's the first time we've seen her, her hair and her face, actually.
And now it looks like she's waving, like maybe
at the helicopters.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on here, but to me, this car, all 4 tires are flat at this point in time. We've got a bumper missing in the back. She's severely disabled when it comes to the vehicle. I mean, the steering's got to be terrible, and yet she's still able to elude police, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, 2 times she's gotten away from them after a pit pursuit, or a pit, I believe. Yeah. And, she just keeps on going, a pit maneuver, forgive me. And she keeps rolling along, although she has to have significant damage to those tires, Stu.
Well, we know the 2 passenger tires definitely flat. We've seen her drive over a spike strip with the driver's side, but that's what we've been talking about in the past. We've seen these spike strips being thrown out. We're like, whoa, boom, that's it, and the spike strips are laying on their sides, or they're not quite deployed correctly, and those little nails don't break off in the tires. It does seem like the driver's side still pretty solid. Those tires definitely holding air. We've seen California Highway Patrol do those pits and then just come right up on the car and block it in, and we saw one time just recently where they smashed it, they sandwiched it. So LAPD, they do the pit, and they stand back. Here comes another one right here. Boop, doop.
Or maybe, this driver is impaired, so maybe the driver is so bombed out of their mind they don't even know what's going on. I mean, maybe they think that nothing is going on, or whatever the case may be, and that's why they continue to go. You think anybody in their right mind would just go ahead. Yeah, this is
he might want to forget. He might want to forget about it tomorrow. He might want to forget that this was going on.
Still with a hand gesture.
Yeah, that's why I put in that doubler, the digital doubler there, just trying to get a little bit closer. Now he stopped at a red light. This is another one, Susie, where a lot of people, they ask me too. They say, well, you know what, if he stopped at a red light, just get in front of him, block him in. That is not LAPD policy. They don't want to put their officers in any kind of clear danger.
Yeah. You saw the door come out of the cruiser right behind there, though. You saw the door in the cruiser open up there.
Pop open, yeah. Every time that thing comes to a stop, they're going to get out, just in case this guy gets out and runs. Westbound Oxnard from Irwin, that's where we are. Another another LAPD vehicle there blocking traffic the other direction. Here comes another pit. This is that's a big chunk pit right there.
Wow, they're getting pretty aggressive now. Look at that, going up on the curve too.
Yeah, and that's what they just want to get this thing stopped. And I guess the idea right now is maybe that officer was thinking, maybe if I can just
the other
push
side.
it enough.
That's a good idea. There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Wow.
This is unbelievable.
Just the tenacity of this driver.
It really is,
and, the brave, I mean, I hate to call it, it's stupidity is what it is, but you see the driver had her arm out while the police vehicle was right there trying to do the pit maneuver.
Yeah.
I mean, that person could have got their hand or their arm in between the vehicles and been severely injured.
Yeah, and she was using her hand motions again, the gestures that she's been doing throughout this pursuit. This has been going on for latter part of the 10 o'clock hour now, probably for about 30 minutes at least.
What would that hand signal be? Is you kind of pushing like, is she saying stop or is she saying
slow down?
We really don't know.
Saying, but we know at this point that she's probably impaired. We know this is a stolen vehicle.
Odd behavior.
And evading police, so she's definitely racking up the charges against her. Well, this is the pursuit of a stolen car throughout the valley that we've been following here on KCAL 9 News at 10 with breaking news.
Let's go back up to Stu Mundell and Sky 9 and see what the very latest is, Stu.
Well, Jeff, right now we're basically at Oxnard and Reseda. I believe that was the intersection we're passing through right now. And, you were talking about resources. I just got to think all those bumpers that are going to have to get repainted and fixed on these LAPD vehicles. The car continuing now, making it looks like a left turn, perhaps heading someplace home-ish? No.
Is this a gas station?
Gas station. Got a pedestrian out there, got some media out there as well. Don't know what stringer company that is, but definitely moving along very slowly. We've seen these come to ends many times at a gas station. Let's see if this person just continues on. This one is continuing on. Basically just kind of driving around.
I thought she might stop underneath that awning.
You think she's going to stop for gas?
I thought she might stop underneath the awning so she won't be seen by the, the choppers.
Well,
but there's a lot of media down there as well. You can see those stringers right there.
It's very dangerous around those gas pumps too.
Now there's basically making a statement, talking to the guys with the cameras. That sign's in the way, but I can guarantee you, there's two guys with cameras right there, working their way out of that gas station. You can see them right there. I think that's actually RMG. I can tell by the hat. And here we go now back out onto the streets. And Oxnard from Reseda is what they're saying right now, and the vehicle basically going back the same direction it was going.
But did get back on her tail just as soon as they thought that she was driving, I guess, slow enough, right, Stu?
Right, definitely. I'm just, because of this extremely riveting high-speed pursuit, I have a little time to get on the social media. People are coming up with ideas that why don't we just drop a net from the helicopter, especially this thing moving so slowly.
That's a good idea.
You know what? We made our decision a long time ago. We watch what's going on. We don't get involved. And that's what we're doing this evening for sure.
This is a female driver or a male driver. They should stop anyway, but we're talking about the fact that this driver is now, we have confirmed, is a man and not a female. We probably got confused by the hair. He does have long hair. We know that much. We also know that this driver is impaired. We also know that he has been gesturing with his hand out the window at some points during the pursuit. We don't know why. Kind of just shaking his hand, waving his hand. We don't know what he was trying to communicate. But this pursuit continues, and we can't believe it because there have been a number of attempted pit maneuvers, successful pit maneuvers, where we thought this guy was going to stop. He did not stop. He stopped for stops. There goes another spike strip. And that
another spike strip.
I think that was.
Looks like it's stuck under the car. There you go.
It was for a minute, wasn't it? And we know at this point that the passenger side of the car, the tires are pretty much gone, right, Stu?
The passenger side, the tires, we've seen them on the rims, right? The tires are still there. They haven't come off, but they are definitely flat. We have confirmed, like you said, I like to going through the checklist. It went from a male driver to a female driver back to a male driver. Well, okay. And we have 2 flat tires, stolen vehicle, original want, impaired. I can tell you also that I think they're going to back off. I'm not saying because we've been wrong on everything else. We're hearing that they're not going to be doing any more pit maneuvers. They're just going to kind of follow this person. They are going to try to throw the spike strips out when they can. You can see some officers from LAPD right there. And we were talking about this earlier on, those spike strips. How do they do it? Well, there you go. And that officer,
another one,
that guy, he might get a little star by his name. It does appear that he did it in the most correct way we've seen this evening for the driver's side. He threw it out there and he pulled it back through, and I think he ran him over. We'll find out here shortly. And it does show you it's the driver, it's not the vehicle. That car could get up and move if it needed to. That driver moving very, very slowly. And again, you can see more folk out here this evening on the side of the road, cell phones out. Sure, they're not checking their Facebook. I'm sure they're actually out here this evening getting some pictures of what's going on. This is moving its way down Ventura Boulevard eastbound, and we're making our way into the Sherman Oaks area. But all that being said, the 2 driver's side tires still holding air. That rear bumper still dragging behind it. That car still moving along, and that driver not in custody.
Well, it's a waiting game at this point in time. I mean, this vehicle is severely disabled. It's going to only be a matter of time before it finally comes to a stop. And, what was really interesting, this all started in Winnetka. It's gone through Reseda, Encino, and looks like it might be heading into Sherman Oaks at this point in time. But through Winnetka, this driver was going through a number of neighborhoods, very slow moving through neighborhoods with a lot of parked cars, darkly lit streets on those neighborhoods. And so it was a very slow-moving pursuit in general. At one point in time, I think probably this was a little bit out of the ordinary, as the driver went through a gas station. We kind of thought maybe that would be the end of it, but was able to circle around through the pumps and then make his way back out. This is a man behind the wheel of this vehicle. We don't know what type of vehicle it is, but it certainly is a tank and has taken quite a beating tonight, because we have seen 8 pit maneuvers. At least 3 were successful, textbook pit maneuvers done in the wide part of the street, didn't hit anybody, turned that car around, turned off the ignition, but somehow the driver got it back up and started and continued on to where we are now.
Yeah, we've seen drivers move on with only flat tires, all 4 flat tires actually. We've seen that, and going at a high rate of speed.
So
and right now,
if you take a look right as we zoom in, that might be a spike strip right
looks
there,
like it.
lodged between the back tires of this vehicle, and it looks like it might come out the back side, and you hope it's run over by that left rear tire, which is still inflated. There it goes. Maybe it actually got it that time as it's taken a turn. Boy, there's nothing left of the right front tire, but just the rim, it looks like to me.
Turning directions, changing directions.
This is something new.
And the LAPD is right behind him. There's some traffic ahead of this guy, and it looks like the LAPD is right behind him and trying to maybe get a little bit ahead of him, but he just keeps on going, kind of weaving out of traffic there.
I was about ready to say this might be the end, but I've said that how many times before in this chase? Twice?
Lost count already.
It was twice that I thought for sure that this was all wrapped up and done and the suspect had nowhere to go. To me, it went from that to a full-on pursuit, and then we're now back to tracking. Now, I mean, obviously, it won't take much to follow this vehicle because it's severely disabled.
Sure.
But still, I don't know. It just is amazing to me that this suspect hasn't just pulled over and said, I'm done and over with, because it's going to just be a matter of minutes.
The public right now is trying to get involved. That one Mustang right there, the officers from LAPD are talking about it. They are keeping an eye on that one vehicle. Apparently there were 2 vehicles earlier on trying to block that car in, basically trying to get that thing to stop. And you can see that one Mustang, that convertible, continuing to do those maneuvers. Now, LAPD, as much as they are all about bringing this to an end, I can assure you they do not want the public's help at all. We don't know what this person's wanted for. We don't know how this thing could end, and we don't want to see anybody get hurt. But that one vehicle, that Mustang, was actually purposely slowing down in front of it, trying to block it. There was another vehicle there a moment ago. This SUV, another one. It seems like, I'm not sure if these people are just wanting to get pictures this evening. That silver one wants to get through. And this is where the trouble starts. You've got these 2 guys here that are having fun. I doubt it.
I mean, I just wonder.
These two guys are having fun out here, and they're getting these pictures, and other people just want to get away.
Well, I
and
really
you saw that silver SUV kind of cut through there.
Yeah.
So what we have
that's
now,
where the problems are going to start coming.
So what we have now are drivers, citizens that appear to be trying to slow down this suspect vehicle. I never want to second guess LAPD, but I almost wonder why they went into tracking mode, because now this person can mix in with traffic, and that would seem to be more dangerous. And then you have this kind of activity going on here where these people are driving slowly.
At this point right now, are we at a stoplight? We were at a stoplight, right, Stu? And now they're moving again.
Yes.
Okay. So the driver obviously was trying to get around these cars, but it looks like he's just going to follow these cars even, and on one of the roofs right now.
So if we can, do you see the Mercedes on the left?
Right.
Right where, if we can lose the slug, well, we just lost the picture, but there's the Mercedes on the left, right there. Keep going, Stu.
Jesus.
You see that? They got the moonroof open, and they are shooting video outside of the sunroof. And
this is turning into a spectacle on Ventura Boulevard.
It's Hollywood. Yeah. So what has happened now is that Mustang convertible in the front has been driving slowly in front of the suspect vehicle now for at least a couple of blocks, ever since the police stopped the pursuit mode and going into tracking mode. And now we got like paparazzi type of people that are just driving around the suspect vehicle taking pictures.
Yeah. If you're just joining us here,
I wouldn't call those guys paparazzis at all.
Well,
there you go.
And
that's one of the problems right there. Yeah. The part of that bumper popping off and hitting another vehicle, that's going to be part of the problems right there. They don't want that type of situation. That Mustang definitely messing with that car constantly this evening, getting in front of it, trying to block it in. That one car right there with the moonroof open, the Mercedes, probably a C-Class. That one, those are just kids or young adults out there this evening with just trying to get pictures of what's going on. That's the reason why they don't want this type of situation. When the public starts getting involved, then you have tempers that start flaring. These people are not professionals, and of course there's going to be some sort of issue. Now, this thing has been moving its way back and forth here on Ventura Boulevard this evening, so that does kind of, it makes it an easy target. Anybody that's in the area knows where it is. They can get here. They can get that selfie next to the bad guy's car.
And they're driving so slowly.
But it's still continuing on. The helicopter definitely overhead. There you go. There's some stringers right there. I think that's RMG again. I can tell by the hat. That's probably Howard. So they're down there. They're getting the shots, but you can see they're not right up against that car. They're not right up talking to him. They're not trying to block him in.
That's the three cars that have been following him the whole time. And if you take a look, you understand that those drivers are also driving illegally. I saw the Mustang, the convertible Mustang, going to oncoming traffic at one point in time to get around the suspect vehicle. So this is very dangerous. Hey, Stu, where are we exactly? We're in Encino. What are the cross streets here? Ventura and what?
Ventura and probably Havenhurst right there.
Okay.
You can see RMG there running. These guys getting their exercise this evening trying to get those shots. I always got to give those guys props because they are there when it's happening on the ground, and that, you know how difficult that can be. So they're down there running this evening, just kind of paralleling the car. You got that one with the person with the sunroof open, with you were calling the paparazzi earlier. Let's just call her a young adult trying to get some pictures. But right now, still moving very slowly. The group of cars around it, LAPD, they are in the air. They're watching this. They know what's going on. But right now, they're just kind of choosing to do the hands-off thing. Hopefully, this guy is going to stop. And those U-turns like that, it could, you know, it's just so dangerous.
That was about the most dangerous move that we've seen from this person tonight.
And that was because the suspect was pinned in by those citizens that are driving and circling the wagons around this
They want to get away
driver.
From it.
So now he's made the U-turn, which makes it so dangerous. This is what's wrong with the situation. Is people try to intervene. They're trying to have fun with this, and it's not fun and games. This is serious stuff, even though this vehicle is going very slowly.
Yeah, very slowly.
It's a stolen vehicle. You don't know how desperate this person is.
Right, and we don't know the mindset of this person. We know that they are driving under the influence. We know that much because that was the original want on this person. But we don't know if they're armed. We have no idea what's going on inside that car. So, you know, just to intervene with police, I mean, police actually backed off just so that, you know, they don't have to put the safety of the public in danger. But, you know, just to make sure that there's safety going on, they want to make sure they just, You know, police are not. Yeah, see, this is what they do not want. They don't want people to engage. They don't want people to come out and talk to this person, but obviously they're seeing it on TV and coming out, and they're seeing it because this driver has been moving so slowly, so they know the exact location of where this person is. Just to recap, if you're just joining us here on CBS 2 News at 11, we've been following this for about an hour and a half now throughout the San Fernando Valley. This is the pursuit that started actually as a following by the LAPD and then turned into a pursuit in the city of Van Nuys. Went through the cities of Winnetka, Reseda, Encino, Sherman Oaks, and it looks like we're back in Encino right now where a guy is dancing circles around this car trying to get the attention of this driver.
That's what he's doing. But what's interesting here is if you take a look and you get a wider shot there, you'll see those two vehicles once again that followed that suspect vehicle. Somehow they made a U-turn also on Ventura and got back around. That's the silver vehicle right behind the suspect vehicle. Also, there was that, I believe that might be the Mercedes.
The photographer, right?
And then we also had that Mustang with a convertible. So, Stu, is there any way that you can show us how close the police officers are at this point in time?
They are not.
They're gone.
They are gone.
Okay.
They are gone. Now they say there's actually one officer right there. So they may be talking about re-engaging it, especially with that one guy out there dancing around the vehicle just moments ago. They might actually even go talk to that person here in just a few moments.
Usually this suspect driver wanted for a stolen vehicle and DUI. Also ran over several spike strips as well. And that leads us to where we are now, where we have citizens that are getting in the way.
People along Ventura
Boulevard. People intervening. That guy just pulled right out on purpose, stopped that car, brought it to a stop. It looks like he's going to be.
Police have got to stop.
Getting so close.
But, yeah, he's basically engaging that vehicle.
Are the police officers anywhere near this person right now? We saw them further down.
No, they are about a half a block away. And but that car definitely engaging that suspect.
This is vigilante behavior. I don't understand why this is happening, and I don't understand why LAPD is allowing this to happen. I mean, obviously, they know what they're doing. They got a policy to follow, and this is just behavior. That guy was trying to back up into the suspect vehicle. I mean, this is vigilante behavior we're seeing on behalf, just make a U-turn that vehicle did right there, and on a busy Ventura to get in front of the suspect vehicle to do a head-on kamikaze-style standoff, if you will, in front of the suspect vehicle.
Yeah, this is such a different picture from what we were seeing earlier during the 10 o'clock hour when this pursuit first started. There's a person getting out of the car now, getting their cell phone out, kicking the car. This is so dangerous. The LAPD has to be close now, I'm sure, Stu.
I see the blue and red lights right there.
Oh, they're right behind him.
Okay.
They're right behind him. And that guy right there, he might actually get a ticket as well. Like I said, it may be the best intentions, but it's definitely not what the LAPD want to see. Any kind of interaction like this could be dangerous. We don't know. This guy could have a gun, probably not. But
just
this type
walking
of situation,
along Ventura Boulevard running.
Right
in the middle of an intersection, running on Ventura at 11:30 at night.
And basically on the wrong side of the road, and that BMW continuing to kind of push this car off into oncoming traffic. There you go.
Another person getting out of that same car.
What is going on?
Wow. This is unbelievable. They are engaging with that suspect. They have no idea if that person is armed. This is so dangerous. And I'm sure the LAPD is yelling at them right now, telling them, please back off. We know what we're doing here.
You know, police officers,
let us handle it.
They may have to look at this tomorrow and come up with a couple different policy changes, because I don't think that was a very good idea to go into the tracking mode and just allow these people to try to stop this suspect vehicle?
I think the LAPD, I think they know what they're doing, but they certainly didn't expect the public to do something like that.
The LAPD definitely know what they're doing. They've got this down. This is their job. And basically, whatever decisions they're making, those are well above my pay grade. I would not want to be in that seat. But this vehicle hasn't damaged anything. We haven't seen anybody hurt this evening. The only damage we've seen is to that vehicle and perhaps some of the California, I keep saying that, LAPD vehicles that have been doing the pit maneuvers. So LAPD doing their job, doing it well, keeping the public safe. The public now, on the other hand, not doing a very good job keeping the public safe. We saw that guy jumping out there, basically doing some punk rock moves on that car, trying to bring it to a stop. That guy behind the wheel obviously doesn't want to stop. We've been watching this for quite some time. He obviously has the doors locked. We saw him try to open the doors. That not happening either. The way is might have been able to stop some of the traffic on Ventura, but then you're going to be inconveniencing so many people. Here's another Mercedes backing up, but it does appear that this person is just trying to get out of the way, I hope. Yeah, either that or maybe it's another person trying to help. And I'm doing the air quotes. I know you can't see it.
Well, they're not turning.
But yeah, this person is trying to help.
They're trying to slow down the suspect vehicle. They're trying to slow the suspect vehicle down. And you understand that they're trying to help out police, but this is not helping because this is leading to what the behavior you saw earlier with people getting out of the vehicle. There was an actual citizen that went up to the driver's side suspect vehicle and did something. I don't know if he reached in. I don't know if he grabbed the person.
Well, first we saw a person kick the vehicle. Then we saw another person get out of that same car and kind of reach in or do some hand gesturing to the person.
Tried to open the door.
Suspect. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they couldn't.
Did that person think that they were going to drag that suspect out of there? There goes the kicking on the right side of your screen. There was that first person who came out of the car, and they kept on going. And then a short time later, after this guy chases the car down Ventura Boulevard, another person comes out of that car and tries to open the door, and now it looks like they're just locked in. This is just a mess.
Yeah,
we'll
just kind of blocked in.
We're going to continue to follow this story.
The thing too, is you can.
I was just going to tell you, we're going to continue to follow this story here as the 11:35 clock winds down here. We're going to go ahead and go on to KCAL 9, so you can continue to follow that here on KCAL 9 and CBSLA.com, our Facebook page, as well, as we continue to follow this pursuit. That tracking mode happening on Ventura. The slow chase had slowed down to the point the police officers were nowhere to be seen. Of course, they had the chopper overhead. The LAPD police chopper was overhead, and they were still monitoring the situation, but that's when the chaos really started to begin. There were drivers that were getting in front of the vehicle, circling the vehicle. They had sunroofs open. People were taking video out of the sunroof. There were people that were getting out of their vehicles and going up, engaging into the suspect. And then LAPD, seeing possibly that this might be getting out of hand, re-engaged with the suspect, and that's where we are now. So let's go to Stu Mundell, who's in Sky 9, to see what is the very latest. Stu?
Well, he continues to make these turns out here on Ventura Boulevard, just basically making U-turns right near the California Pizza Kitchen on Ventura and Woodley Boulevard. You can see the car just continue to move. A lot of people out here on the streets this evening. You know, the term, I don't have a cat in this goat rodeo, is what comes to mind right now. I don't know where that came from, but it just continues to basically just keep following this car round and round and round. You've got stringers down there. Those are the independent news guys. You've got folks with their cameras out there. You have some folks that were trying to intervene, doing what they can to bring this thing to a stop. But the car just keeps rolling around down there.
They've actually backed off on the pit maneuvers for the night, right?
Oh, yeah. They basically said no more pit maneuvers this evening. They might change that. That could change up, like now.
Right now.
almost got that. Almost got that. There you go. Two.
That was very unexpected because they were just moving so slowly, like they have been all night. But it looked like they were just following right behind them. But all of a sudden, that LAPD officer just made that angle and got that person. It looks like they're just going to surround that person right away.
We were talking about blocking the car in. It looks like that's exactly what they're doing now.
They are done with this. They are done. This has been going on for almost 2 hours now.
There we go.
They said get out. They are kicking the car. They are telling that person, ordering that person to get out of the car, put your hands up, get on the ground. We want to put you in custody.
We do see the driver's side door opening up. Let's see the hands. Of course, this is going to be the hands of the suspected driver for a stolen vehicle and DUI that started almost 2 hours ago. Now, Stu, tell us a little bit about, the procedure here. They're telling this guy to get out.
The frustration level for these officers must be intense. The frustration, and that person having that bag right there. Now that laser that you see right there, that red dot. Don't fret at home. That's going to be less than lethal. That is going to be a less than lethal weapon, especially with that red dot. Probably the beanbag round, maybe a taser. But there are a lot of lethal weapons being pointed at this person as well. Throwing that backpack on the ground, probably not the wisest idea for sure. We can see a large person this evening getting out of that car and hands up, doing as he's told, now laying down on the ground. But it is finally coming to an end. Definitely open for a lot of discussion. Maybe they'll be talking about this tomorrow, about the policies and why and how. But definitely coming to an end. And again, in the end, nobody's been hurt. No property's been damaged except for the suspect's vehicle and perhaps some bumpers. But right now, this person going into custody, no civilians hurt this evening. And of course, I'm really curious to see if the law enforcement goes after those vigilante types, and of course, and the other folks that were out there blatantly making those U-turns, as you pointed out, having those camera phones out, all those little things that technically are a no-no, but at this time they might have been focused on something a little bit bigger, meaning that very slow speed pursuit. Definitely coming to an end. Ventura Boulevard near Woodley. Suspect in custody as the car finally, with a couple of pits, and basically blocked.